The phone rang at 2 a.m., slicing through the thick quiet of Daniel Hart's small apartment like a cry for help. He jolted awake, heart pounding, confused. Only emergencies called at this hour, and he knew the number before he even checked. Lily's school, the hospital, maybe his aging mother. But the screen showed an unknown caller, and instinct told him to ignore it. He nearly did, but something, maybe that strange gut feeling only single parents know, made him swipe to answer. A trembling voice whispered, "Please, can you come back? I don't feel safe." Not Lily's voice. Not anyone he knew. A stranger. Daniel sat up straighter. "I think you have the wrong number." A shaky breath on the other side, then a muffled sob. "Please don't hang up. I can't be alone right now." He could have ended the call. Should have. But something in the way she fought to steady her voice, something in the raw fear threaded through her words, reminded him too much of the nights his daughter woke from nightmares, calling for someone, anyone, to stay. So Daniel asked gently, "Where are you?" And that was how a single dad with a beat-up truck and a heart stitched together by responsibility found himself driving across the quiet town toward a mansion he had only ever seen from the outside, the Whitmore estate, sprawling and silent behind iron gates. He expected a prank, or a mistake, or someone who would slam the door at his arrival. He didn't expect her. She opened the door like someone who hadn't slept in days. Her eyes were red, mascara smudged, hair messy in a way that didn't match the expensive silk robe she wore. She was young, mid-20s, maybe, but her expression carried years of exhaustion. "You're not Michael," she whispered, blinking. "No," Daniel admitted. "My name's Daniel. You called the wrong number." She stared at him, confused, embarrassed, then heartbreakingly grateful. "I'm sorry. I thought I called our security manager. But I was shaking so bad I must have hit the wrong contact." She wrapped her arms around herself, trying to hold steady. "There were reporters outside earlier today. I thought they came back. I thought someone was watching the windows. I panicked." Daniel glanced around the luxurious entryway. Marble floors. Framed art worth more than his yearly income. A staircase that looked like something from a movie. But what caught his attention was how empty it felt. "How about I check around the house?" he offered without thinking. She nodded too quickly, as if afraid he'd change his mind. He swept the perimeter, checked the doors, confirmed the locks. Everything was still and secure. When he returned, she stood exactly where he left her, hugging herself like she was her own shield. "It's all clear," he said. She exhaled, a tremor of relief passing through her. "Thank you. I'm Tessa, by the way." She gave a tired, fragile smile. Tessa Whitmore. Oh, the Whitmore heiress. The woman whose family name was on half the buildings in town. The one reporters obsessed over after her father's passing last year. The one everyone claimed had everything. But in this moment, she looked like she had no one. "You want some water?" she asked suddenly, as if remembering she should act like a hostess even at 2 a.m. "No, I should head home. My daughter's asleep." He adjusted his coat. Her face softened. "You have a daughter. 10 years old. She's my whole world." Something flickered in Tessa's expression, a quiet ache he couldn't quite place. He started toward the door, but her voice stopped him. "Daniel." He looked back. "Thank you for coming. You didn't have to. Most people don't show up for strangers." He gave a small, almost embarrassed shrug. "Sometimes people just need someone to be there." She held his gaze a little too long, then nodded. He didn't expect to see her again. But the next afternoon, when he picked Lily up from school, he found Tessa standing awkwardly by his truck. She wore sunglasses and simple jeans, hair pulled back, looking nothing like the woman from the tabloids. "Hey," she said softly. "I hope this isn't weird. I just wanted to thank you properly." Lily peeked from behind him, always curious. "Who's she?" Tessa crouched, giving Lily a warm smile. "Just a friend of your dad's." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Friend." Tessa looked at him nervously, as if unsure whether she had the right to say that. He didn't correct her. She handed him a small box, fancy chocolates, the kind he'd never buy. "I don't need anything," he said. "I know," she replied. "That's why I wanted to." There was something honest in her voice that made it impossible to refuse. From that afternoon on, Tessa seemed to drift into their lives naturally. She stopped by the diner Daniel worked at. She visited the little park Lily loved. She brought books, cookies, sometimes nothing but a smile that seemed more genuine each day. But the more time she spent with them, the more Daniel realized something. She wasn't just lonely. She was lost. Growing up in a mansion, being told what to wear, who to trust, what to pursue, none of it prepared her for being truly alone after her father's death. The world wanted pieces of her, not her heart. With Daniel and Lily, she wasn't an heiress. She was just Tessa. She laughed with Lily. She teased Daniel. She learned how to make grilled cheese properly. She sat in the back of his old truck and watched sunsets like she'd never seen one before. And slowly, Daniel found himself looking forward to her presence. To her quiet gratitude. To the way she listened when he talked about work or parenting or the ache of doing everything alone. One evening, while Lily slept on the couch between them, Tessa whispered, "You saved me that night." "No," Daniel replied. "You just needed someone to show up." Her eyes glistened. "No one ever shows up for me unless they want something." He shook his head. "Not everyone wants something." Her voice trembled. "Then, stay. Please. Not just tonight. Just, don't disappear." He felt the words hit deep, deeper than he expected. "Tessa, your world and mine are different." "I don't care about the world," she said softly. "I care about the people who make me feel safe." His heart tightened. Safety wasn't something he thought he could give anyone outside of Lily. But Tessa wasn't asking for a hero. Just for someone real. And he could do real. He took her hand gently. "I'm not going anywhere." Her breath hitched with relief, with something like hope. She leaned her head on his shoulder, and in the soft quiet of his humble living room, they stayed like that, two broken edges fitting together in the simplest way. Months passed, and the town whispered, as towns do. About the heiress who traded luxury for late-night grocery runs. About the single dad who somehow softened her life. But none of it mattered. What mattered was Lily's laughter when Tessa taught her how to braid hair. What mattered was Daniel looking up from the stove to find Tessa humming in his kitchen like she'd always belonged. What mattered was the peace on her face, a peace money had never given her. One night, as spring rain tapped the windows, Tessa held Daniel's hands, voice trembling but certain. "You showed up for me when you had no reason to," she whispered. "So I'm asking you now, will you stay? Not because I'm scared, but because I don't want to imagine my life without you." Daniel looked at her, really looked. At the woman who once stood shaking in a mansion too big to feel like home. At the woman who found comfort in his small apartment and messy parenting and real, imperfect life. At the woman who chose him, not for what he could offer, but for the way he cared. He brushed a tear from her cheek. "I stayed the moment you called," he murmured. "You just didn't know it yet." Tessa smiled through her tears and pulled him into a gentle, breath-stealing kiss, soft, grateful, full of promise. In that quiet moment, a wrong number became the right beginning. And the heiress who once feared the dark finally found her forever in the warmth of a single dad who showed up anyway. If you want, I can expand it further, create a multi-chapter version, or turn it into a novel-style series.